What's Uncommon Fossil today? Gonna be playing one of my favorite Vmax Pokemon. That's Ice Rider Calyrex Vmax, 320 HP. Obviously, it's an evolution. It gives up 3 prizes as a Vmax. Hard to one-shot, which that's a big plus for this card and kind of what can make it viable now. It's got 2 attacks, both of which have value. The big one, Max Lance, sorry about that, for 2 water energy, does 10 damage, which isn't much, but then it does. You can discard up to 2 energies, and you do 120 more damage for each energy discarded this way, so you can do 250 damage. You have to discard both energies from the Pokemon, so of course we need to accelerate them back on, which we do have ways to do that, so 250. We do play Choice Belt because we do want to be able to get up to 280 to one-shot many Pokemon. That's an important number to hit. But then the first attack, don't forget that, Ride of the High King for 2 colorless energies, so it can pay for it with a DTE, although you reduce the damage. Or those 2 water energy, again, will do the attack, but you don't have to discard them. So Ride of the High King does 10 plus 30 more for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So a lot of decks like to fill up the bench with support Pokemon. So it can do 160 damage. So if you can get the damage you need with the first attack, you do that to save the energy for the next turn. So it plays a 3 Vs, 2 Vmaxes, line of that to set it up. One of the keyways we're setting up with Arceus V-Star, 4 of the Vs and 3 of the V-Stars, right? Trinity Nova, you know Arceus, 280 HP, gives up 2 prizes, of course. Trinity Nova for 3 colorless energy does 200 damage and accelerates up to 3 basic energy from your deck to your V Pokemon any way you like. So using that to power up the Ice Rider early game to get things going, quite nice, right? And honestly, if you can force your opponent to take 8 prizes, it's a big plus. If they knock out an Arceus V-Star 2 prizes, knock out a VMAX 3 prizes, that's 5, and then force them to hit through the last of your VMAXs, that is 8 prizes. So that really helps with this winning the game as well. For some other support Pokemon, we play a 2-2 Bibarel line and 1 Skwovet. Right, Skwovet, you shuffle your hand, put it to the bottom of your deck, draw 1 card. Bibarel, you draw until you have 5 cards in hand. They pair very nicely together. And of course, then we can still have a draw engine if Path to the Peak is in play. So that's a big plus. To have something that gets around Path to the Peak. And honestly, we want to play Path ourselves because we have, yes, Arceus V-Star power is very good, but we only use it once in the game and we're done with it. So we'll get to the trainer shortly. The energy count for double turbos because we need to get that on to Arceus. And if we go second, we want to use Arceus's V's attack the first turn, so we want to increase the odds of hitting that DTE there. So 4 of those, I like that in the deck. And then 9 basic water energy. Played around with the numbers as low as 8. 8's okay. I think getting the 9th energy in will help hit it a little more often, which I think is important with this deck. All right, getting to the trainers here for Ultra Ball, right? Search for a Pokemon, discard 2. And 2 cards, and we do play Melony to accelerate from the discard pile as well as Raihan. So getting energy for Raihan's important too, basic energy, right? Lets us accelerate a basic energy to one of our Pokemon, and then search our deck for any card we want. Very good. Now it's only useful if you've been knocked out the turn before from your opponent's last turn. That happens, of course, during the course of the game. So nice to have a Raihan or 2, helps the deck keep moving nicely. 1 switch card, 1 escape rope. Might want a second switch card. You got to decide what you want to cut for that. Lost Vacuum. I include this because I play Path to the Peak, but no counter stadium to it, and to be able to bump the stadium to use Arceus V-Star power is quite nice, or being able to get rid of a tool on the opponent that is causing trouble, right? So I like Lost Vacuum. You could cut that, but I like it in the deck for Iono, right? Good early game. You shuffle, each player shuffles their hand, puts it on the bottom of their deck, draws a card for prize card remaining. So, seeing 6 cards early game is quite nice. And then also late game can put our opponent into a small hand size. For Melony, you could cut this down to 3. I mean, Melony is just so key to this deck. You attach a water energy from the discard pile to one of your V Pokemon, which will be Ice Rider. And you could do Arceus too, potentially. There might be a time for that, but it's basically here for Ice Rider, right? And then you draw 3 cards. So accelerate energy, draw 3 cards, quite nice. 3 Path to the Peak. Every deck basically is playing Path to the Peak, trying to beat Charizard EX and Pidgeot EX, right? So Path is kind of a must include in almost every deck, which kind of starts to make it feel a bit useless, right? When everybody's playing Path, what's the point? But we're playing Path nonetheless. 2 Super Rods, shuffle up to the combination of 3 Pokemon and basic energy into your deck. 1 Pal Pad to recycle up to 2 supporters. 4 Nest Ball to get those basics into play. 2 Boss's Orders, super useful supporter, of course, and 1 Choice Belt lets us get from that 250 to the 280 damage to one shot, something like a Giratina V-Star, for instance, with our Ice Rider. So, a very solid deck on a Vmax that I've enjoyed, right? Vmaxes are expensive and can be a bit oppressive, but you need to give them a try, too. All right, so we'll see what happens this game, see if I can go first or not. Obviously, first is a big bonus with this deck. Getting set up is tricky at times, I got to say. An opponent setting up, there's a lot of decks that set up faster than my deck, and that always is a problem. So probably going second here, we will see. Second can be very good. I can get a very good turn 1 potentially, but things have to really come together for me, which doesn't, need. All right, and giving them a mulligan, so giving them an extra draw, at least 1 extra card as well, not good. Okay, well this is a very nice turn 1 though, for me. So this is good. I'll take this. I'll take the mulligan to get this. All right, so I have DTE. I have an Ultra Ball. So I can accelerate. I can get an Ice Rider into play and accelerate to it. Okay, up against the deck I'm not as familiar with here, so we'll see how things go for me. So we'll see if they have anything else to do, right? So this was a very suboptimal turn for them for sure. Okay, so I will. These other cards are all great, right? Actually, I'll get rid of Bibarel. I'll keep the Melony because Bibarel. I should have a sec. I don't know if the Bibarel's prized, right? By getting rid of a Rod, so it makes it harder to get the Bibarel. But a nice turn 1 is good. I have my other Rod. So, okay. So I will Ice Rider, Skwovet. I'll get energy all around here. Right, 2 on the Ice Rider. I'll put 1 on the Arceus and see what happens here. Now, it depends what my opponent does here, right? It's a good hand in that if I'm not knocked out, then I evolve to the V-Star and I can do what I want then, right? That's the hope. Opponent's got a big hand, though, so I don't know what they can do. They can play a supporter this turn. Obviously, they did virtually nothing turn 1. They did almost as little as possible. So they had a bad turn 1. So, okay, Irida. So that, we'll see what they're up to now. So Chen Pao, Rare Candy. So Seismitoad. What does Seismitoad do? This is a new one, right? Okay, it takes 1 more colorless. So, okay, that's interesting. So, my attack cost is 3, right? So I can't attack. I don't want to attach another DTE, right? DTE is bad for sure. I don't think I want these cards, right? So I will Skwovet first, see what I hit. Might as well. I might get something that's useful. Path to the Peak, which is good. I'm going to Path next. So I want to get, I need an energy so I can attack. And I think do I want like a research? No, I don't play research, right? I guess Iono because I need cards, right? I need fresh cards. So I'm going to Iono. Might help my opponent because they're struggling too. So Path will be good. So now I can attack, right? And I get the knockout, right? So, don't Iono yet. Let's toss down the Path. Let's Iono. See what I get here. Okay, another path, which is good. Okay, so I want to toss down. I think I'll toss the switch away. Get a Vmax, and then I think I get down with Nest Ball another Ice Rider, right? Just let's get my army going. Opponent can't be feeling overly comfortable right now. So knockout. All right, they won't get Seismitoad up this turn, which is good. I'll get an extra energy there. I will one-shot the Chen Pao. So right now, my opponent's not liking their situation, I'm sure. Path, obviously, is trouble for them. Boss could be good, too. So they're bumping the stadium. I can, and if they don't disrupt my hand, I will path again. I like the boss, too. I do like that as an option. Irida, let's see what they're grabbing. So they haven't used Chen Pao's ability yet. So they take, what, 10 less damage, right? No, whenever. Okay, damages non-water Pokemon to a basic non-water. So I probably won't attach to anything, so it probably doesn't matter. I mean, I'll attach to Ice Rider, obviously, and it's even if it's the basic Ice Rider doesn't do damage. Skwovet, Bibarel. I'm not going to play Arceus, and it's so we'll see what they're grabbing. I have a nice advantage this game, though. It's gone. It's been a bad day so far, I got to say, with this deck. I've gone second almost all the time. And haven't been able to get things happening very well a lot. But my opponent really bricked. It's fair enough to say, right? Opponent's bricked, but I've set up super nicely here too. Just would like a draw supporter. Maybe the deck needs some more draw supporters. That's one thing I'm kind of relying on Arceus to get things going, which of course happened this game quite nicely. So I think I want to take out the Frigibax, right? And then they can take me, and they conceded. So there we go. I had it going my way. They couldn't attack that turn. They didn't know what I had, but there's the deck doing its thing. Certainly a very fun deck to play, I gotta say. Still enjoy Ice Rider after all this time. It's not as strong as it once was, certainly without the Italian engine, but it still can get the job done. All right, let's see if I can get another W here. Last game was a W, but largely because my opponent struggled. Playing a Dark Coin, so don't know. Could be Dark Charizard, could be something else, right? Could be Darkrai, V-Star, or something. But we'll see. Might just be the coin they like to. You can't really go by these things very accurately, right? People will do fakes and all too, which is fine. I get it. So Charizard, so they're... I didn't notice how I assume I'm going second, but I wasn't paying enough attention. Once again, I often don't pay attention, so up against Charizard, right? Fancy Charizard. Some of these fancy arts, it's hard for me to see what the actual card is, right? There's just so much going on. To me, in my eye, it's a lot of noise in a sense. But it's a very solid start to this game. So going second, but getting to power up my Ice Rider can get down a Bidoof with their stadium. Want to get Path. Path is really important with this matchup. If I get Path, I'm getting a good turn one for me, right? They have the advantage going first, of course. Path to the peak is huge, right? If I get Path and play for a couple turns if I can slow them down a turn, even 2 turns, but even 1 turn, that can be what I need for victory. So getting rid of a couple nice supporters, Calyrex and Iono, but they need to get the Char Mander in play. Or the, let's see what they're grabbing. Well, they're taking their time here. So what are they doing? I guess they're searching through their deck, right? Yeah, so getting the Charmander, that's the obvious play they need to get down. Now they have both their basics, so they have what they need for the turn. I'm going to attack with Arceus. They get to grab a item from their deck. So, okay. That wasn't the smart play, I don't think. They should have attached a chart to the Charmander. I really do think that was the right play. All right, so Ice Rider. I didn't hit my stadium, so that means I'm in trouble here. Because they're probably now they don't have a lot of cards in hand. That's the one good thing I have going for me is not a lot of cards in hand. I could get down another Arceus for next turn, right? I could do that, but I'm not going to do that because I'm going to assume they're not. If they knock out my Arceus, I'm in a lot of trouble. That's the way I'm going to play this game. If they knock out my Arceus, I'm kind of going to lose. And I have to be careful as the Charizard EX. It can then one-shot my Ice Rider VMAX, right? Once I've taken 5 prizes, or with 4 prizes and a choice belt, then it's the same thing. So, because 185 times 30 is 150, which gets to 330, and I am at 320. So, they're going to get the turn they want. They haven't used Mew yet. They should probably be using Mew unless they want to use a supporter first and then use Mew after that. But I guess if they need if they need both the Pokemon and the rare candy, they might grab something like Iono, right? In which case, that's a little awkward for me. I got to say potentially because I have a great hand right now, and okay, so they failed Mysterious Tails, maybe by choice, maybe because they didn't hit an item. So that's great. So, okay, there we go. With you. Don't think there's anything I want in here, right? I don't have Skwovet. So, no. What am I going to grab here? Another Ice Rider. I think I want to Iono them and Path them. I wish, this would be a turn where Judge would be good. So let me get down I'm going to be greedy here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to grab the Bibarel, right? Because Boss actually could be nice as well. I'm just thinking, right? If I were to Boss, so I'm going to attach to him. I like this. I can. Okay, so I have my paths. I have Boss. So okay, so that's really nice. So I can. So Boss path. So what do I want to grab here? I want to grab. I want a V down for sure. What do I have for? So I have my second Boss in deck, and I have Pal Pad. So that's all really good stuff. What else do I want to grab here? I think I want to grab. I'll grab a Melony. No, I'll grab Raihan. Raihan's better, assuming if I don't get knocked out, I don't need that at all. So path to the peak. They grab something, of course, with their Pidgeot. Do I want? Now they have free retreat up Pidgeot, so that's the problem, right? But I think I need to get rid of this Pidgeot because he's just giving me too much trouble, right? So let's get this going. Let's see how many energies I have. Okay, liking this too. So I'll put a third one here. So yeah, not a bad spot here. I don't think. They'll retreat, obviously. They'll retreat. Now, the thing is, they retreat into the Mew. They can't retreat the Mew out. So that's the nice thing, right? And they can't use Pidgeot. So they grabbed a card last turn with Pidgeot EX, I believe, that they didn't play. So they're retreating. Mysterious Tails. Now, if they got the Pokemon, okay, they failed again with Mew, so that's nice too. They haven't. Okay, they played one rare candy. They haven't gotten rid of any. They haven't used Calyrex, so I might want to DTE the Bibarel just to thin things out here, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking. So I'm going to fail this. Sorry to be a failure, but that's what I want to do. I'm going to attach to Bibarel. If I run into boss, I'm really liking life. If I okay, so didn't hit the boss, but that's okay. I don't think I want to recover my Arceus. No, so I'll just take a prize. You know, was I right bossing up the Pidgeot not to knock it out? I'll wait on the energy. I just don't know where I want it at this point, right? Right, Skwovet. Okay, Skwovet, that helps my engine, right? Because I really want to boss up that Pidgeot, right? If I boss, because Pidgeot still, right? I mean, the Arceuses are tough, right? I mean, the Charizards are tough to get through. Their HP's big. But if I take out the Pidgeot, then they're set way back, right? They're set back. Because right now they bump the stadium, they get one card they want. I really want to stop that Pidgeot from functioning. I really, really do. So, all right, so they're bossing. Let's see. So, I mean, they're getting a card. Maybe the stage 1, we'll see. They have the EX, so which rare candy EX, but they don't get any energy on, right? So that's good. That's really, really good. In which case, so they're Ionoing me. Okay. The downside is, all right, so hit boss, so that's good too. Let's see what they do. They might just send up the Arceus. Oh, they're bumping the state. Okay, so now they get one card they want. Okay, I lost my Skwovet. I have boss, though, so I think I want to take out the Pidgeot EX just because it makes things really tough for them without the Pidgeot. I think that's the play I need. I need to get another path into play, is what I really want to happen also. So they may knock me out, but that's okay, right? There's worse things in the world that can happen. So, okay. You know, you should have quit. I would just say you should quick search before you do the retreat in case when you think you're looking for a card. Look, it's happened to me. It's probably happened to you too. Unless you're the perfect player, and no one's perfect all the time. All right, so boss, I think I want to take out the man on the bench. I do like that as an option. So I can get my Skwovet down. So thank you for the artisan. Let's just take a peek here. Path. I have both path and deck, so that's good too. Do I want the stadium? I don't think I really want the stadium, do I? I mean, I want to get the stadium, so I want to take out the Pidgeot EX. That's my goal there. I think I'll just chuck down the tool. It's not going to help me, I don't think, but that's okay. What do I want to get here? Oh, I want to get the Vmax into play. Yeah, Vmax. Let's see. I have Pal Pad. I really want to get Pal Pad into. I want to play the Pal Pad this turn. That's the big. So what's the best way to get Pal Pad? I think it's Iono first. Oh no, I can't Iono. I did so I'll just Bibarel, I think. Iono's not bad for next turn, I guess. Missed Pal Pad. All right, get down the path. I like that too. And I don't, these aren't the cards I want. So let me just, if I hit Pal Pad, then I'm really, really loving life. Okay, so Trinity Nova, take the knockout, 2 prizes, not going to accelerate. Now, the Charizard gets more powerful, right? So now the Charizard is a lot more powerful. That's a concern. Definitely a concern. So I really, 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 really want to get okay, so Arceus, but unless they could bump the stadium, they can't use the V-Star power. Obviously, Arceus is huge here if they bump the stadium. This is where this path comes into play, right? These Arceus, Charizard, Pidgeot decks, brutal. The only way, the thing that stands in their way is path to the peak, right? Besides the fact they're a rare candy deck if they don't set up, but this deck is set up, right? The only reason I'm in the game is because, all right, do I want to... So I can get the knockout if I could hard retreat for the knockout. That's an option, right? I'm going to retreat. Take the knockout. I'm going to get rid of both because I have the Melony still, right? So I'm going to Melony to the active. I have Rope. I like the Rope. Rope is really nice here too. Okay, that's a good set of cards. I'm just going to sit on this because it's pretty good. Well, energy. I'm gonna attach to Arceus. Just get him 1 away from attacking as well. I'll be down to 1 prize left after this. I have the energy for this attack. Now, Charizard's dangerous, right? Charizard can now one-shot me, but and if I get Iono'd, I'm in a bit of trouble. I gotta say, right? Rope is really huge here because Rope gets me game next turn. Right? They can't probably do anything. They don't have the energy either, so I Rope for game, right? So now, and I Pal Pad finally got that, which I'm pleased to get that. So whichever they send up, they've lost the game. So there we go. And I will just boom 140. So up against Charizard rough deck, of course, path to the peak is key. You start to see why like every deck is just about is running path now, right? Because it can beat this Charizard Pidgeot Arceus deck, right? It's what they need. It's really the only way to beat that deck is to get path down when it sets up. And because I got path down, and I targeted the Pidgeot EX, which was a risk because it has free retreat. I had to use up both bosses on it, but getting that out of the way, I think helped the win there also. So Ice Rider, it's still viable. It's not as good as it was before rotation with the Inteleon engine, but still a solid deck. And if you like the Ice Rider, the rhythm to it, certainly don't be afraid to give it a try. Take care.